Hey guys, Elizabeth Quinn here again, Elizabeth's Scenes and Scents. Welcome back to my channel. Please don't forget to check out my website, which is waftingwonderfulwax.scentsy.us, where I am Liz Quinn, your star Scentsy consultant. So today what I have for you is just my weekly what I've been warming. A lot of beautiful goodies here on the table, so let's just dive right on in. I'm going to start with a whole boatload of Scentsy, and I do have a nice mix of things as we go along, different companies, different opportunities to just enjoy fall melting. But today I am doing a good old classic cider mill from Scentsy and Orchard Apple and Spice, which is one that has been gone for quite a while. I kept it in my club for a bit, but you cannot keep everything. But man, would I get this one in a flash sale. So this is apple, it's cherry, it's wood, it's a beautiful September scent, and it's perfect for a day like today. And then good old cider mill is probably my absolute top Scentsy favorite for fall if you're just going to try to squeeze all the fall goodness in one bar. So it's a gentle, simmering cider scent with a lot of apple, some smoothness from the pumpkin, and just a really light dash of spice. But it's just right. It always makes you happy on a crisp fall day. That is classic cider mill. The next set here I was working on yesterday, and these are a little bit more crispy. So Hayrise is currently in the catalog, and this is a really nice balance of outdoorsy with the like a cedar and the apple and the hay. And it's just really good. It's not too heavy, it's not too light. This is the second year that this has been available, and I'm going to be ordering more because I really enjoyed that. And then to go a little bit deeper into those crunchy autumn leaves, the juniper, the heavier middle of the fall smells. Fall feeling was only around for one season. It wasn't everybody's cup of tea because it is that deep sort of autumn funky woodsy bar. But I really enjoyed it, and this was great with hay rides. Alternate warmers, it kept things not too deep and dark. Really, really nice. Then there was a day when I went for both of the best smoky scents I've got from Scentsy. So Hollow Harvest, which I wish had come to the catalog this year, and Around the Campfire, which is also not in the catalog and now completely retired. I have Hollow Harvest in my club. I do not have Around the Campfire in my club. If you want a really wonderful, sweet, smoky, complex melt, do these two. So Around the Campfire is just sweet sap and smoke and wood. And it's just really good. It's an excellent mixer too. But I did separate rooms. I didn't do alternating warmers throughout my space. I did separate rooms because I love Hollow Harvest so much. I just wanted to put all of that into the Florida room pretty much. So this is like a vanilla and pumpkin, and then this gorgeous smokiness, but it's high-end, very sophisticated in its scent. It's beautiful, you guys. I hope some of you have kept this in your club. I've done quite a few exchanges with people with swaps lately where I was able to throw that in because I've got a decent stack, and people have been so excited to get that. And melting that bar made me realize I'm so happy that we still have club, because I know that Region 3 down in the Australia, New Zealand region, that club, when it comes to always get my bar, is not a thing anymore, and that sent shockwaves through the whole Scentsy community. We've been waiting for the other shoe to drop here up north, but at least for the time being, we've heard nothing that I know of. So I sincerely hope, since the backbone of my desire to be a Scentsy consultant and consumer is tied to my Scentsy club and my Bring Back My Bars, that that's going to be staying. I sincerely hope so. So I'm not making any sort of announcement. Don't misread what I'm saying. I know nothing of any changes when it comes to Scentsy Club and the ability to always get your bar at this time in Region 1. Then I have this current month's wonderful caramel bar, Frights and Delights. And I did pair this just in a couple warmers with all that smoke that I was just talking about. And this is a really, really good supporting scent for others. It's good on its own too, but it's like a darker caramel with some woodsiness. I may club this. It's not quite as bright and sweet as Smoky. I always mess that up. Spooky but Sweet, which is in the catalog. But the two of them together, if you really want like caramel and complexity, Spooky but Sweet in one warmer and then Frights and Delights in the other, caramel heaven. But this is darker, this is deeper, it's more nuanced and complex, not quite so light and happy. But I really, really like it. Very good bar. I have more coming. Then another day, I dug out a beautiful clam called Pumpkin Cashmere. This was an October scent at one point, maybe 3 years ago. Wasn't super popular, and honestly, most of the time Scentsy Wax doesn't need a long time to develop all of its notes, but this one needed a year. And now I have a good stack because I did realize how much I liked it from when it was a scent of the month and I had my kit bars. And then they put a whole bunch of it in clearance for forever because nobody seemed to like it but me. And I kept picking up more and more bars because I found that it's really good. So it's got a cashmere, a pumpkin note, and sort of a nutty acorn pine cone note. And it's just so nice. And it's slightly sweet. Really, really good, you guys. If any of you have this and you've just had it in your back closet, get it out and try it on a cold day. You'll be very shocked at how good that bar really is. Next one I've got here, which I paired this with something else and I'm not remembering what. But Butter Pecan stays in my club, is one of my favorite bars of all time. My 3 favorite bars that are bakery are Butter Pecan, I'm really having trouble with tongue twisters today, Almond Croissant, and Apple Butter Frosting. It's just so good. It's so rich, and the nuttiness of the pecans always makes me happy. This was really nice, and I had that going with what I cannot remember, but something else that was like really gooey, decadent bakery, and it was such a nice day. A couple more things where I don't remember when I was doing it, but I did it, was a whole boatload of brown butter pumpkin, which is in the catalog. I love this. This is the nicest middle of the road, sweet bakery pumpkin without any really standout spices or anything. It's not deep and squashy like Forever Fall, which I'm reserving for a little bit later in the season. It's just happy, and it does have a butter note, so if you don't like that, it might be off-putting to you, but most people, when they melt this, they just love it, and so do I. It's just so, so nice. Smooth, rich bakery pumpkin, brown butter pumpkin. Another one where I threw it in the warmer and don't know what else I was doing on the same day was Pumpkin Honey Spice. This is a part of our Harvest Collection 5-bar bundle, which those all only come together. I thought that you could mix and match those in a 6-bar bundle with other catalog bars, and you cannot, which makes me a little sad, but there's always club. So Pumpkin Honey Spice. This is an interesting bar, especially just in the clam, because there's so much oil here. It's a very intense scent. So it has sort of like a cakey cornbready note to my nose, and then the honey and the pumpkin and the spice. So it's very saturated. It really rolls around in your room very nicely, and it's cozy and comforting, and I did enjoy it very, very much. Also, I melted, I'm pretty sure I did these 2 on the same day, a clam of honey pear cider, and when I do this, I want to make sure I'm present to really enjoy it because there's only so much honey pear cider to go around because it's not in my club, and wassail, which is a really nice simmered cider scent. We haven't had that as far as a catalog bar or any sort of a real promotional that I can even ever remember. If you know when wassail was first a thing, please let me know down in the comments. I've only ever found it in clearance, but it's really nice. So it's a low-key simmered apple cider smell, but it's different than cider mill. It's different than a lot of them. It's a little bit more Christmassy, but at the same time, it goes nicely with fall apple too. So I wanted to do that with honey pear cider because they're both pretty low-key and smooth. And oh, honey pear cider is the smoothest of the smooth. We have to have this back at some point. I don't know when the next Bring Back My Bar vote is. I know that's also getting restructured to some degree, and I'm not sure what that's going to look like, but I sure hope we can get honey pear cider back in some way so I can put it in my club. Oh, so nice. So then another day I did just the quintessential fall bakery combination. Pumpkin cinnamon swirl, which is thankfully still in the catalog. Very, very nice. So where the brown butter pumpkin is more of like baking pumpkin, this pumpkin cinnamon swirl is a bakery scent with cinnamon and frosting and smooth pumpkin goodness. So this is far more confectionery and almost like you walked into a bakery rather than your bowl of pumpkin that might be going into homemade muffins, and you've got butter dripping down the side, which is the brown butter pumpkin. So this is sweeter, more icing-y, really nice. It's been a staple for fall for years, and to support that, I used one of my clams of frosted cinnamon roll, which is basically pumpkin cinnamon swirl minus the pumpkin. A little more caramely here, and these are both beautiful fall bakery scents. It was great. Then another day, oh, I think I know what went together. I did Falling Leaves, which is in my club. This is beautiful. It was in a BBMB, keeps getting thrown into clearance and flash sale orders. This is patchouli, cinnamon, and clove. And so it makes this crunchy fall leaf walk in the woods on a sharp, zingy, almost like there was some frost on the ground in the morning kind of day. Beautiful. And I did that with a whole bunch of apple and cinnamon sticks, which has some similarities. The dry cinnamon note between this and the falling leaves, I think they kind of share that. But then this has the apple, it's got the white pumpkin, it's got the oak, and it's a beautiful potpourri, sort of savory fall apple cinnamon. Really gorgeous. And I think I did more hayrides, did a lot of hayrides this week, so we won't double talk about that. And then next, I did some pairings where maybe I would do a Teddy Bees and a Scentsy, or I'd do a Second and Spruce and a Scentsy. So for one of those, I had 1 bar of Shire Sunrise. This is a great outdoorsy fall smell for September. It's so good. This has got almost like a clover field, although I think that's a spring thing, but it's like that, plus some cedar wood, plus some apples, and nice fall leafy greens and woodsiness. It's kind of sweet, and it's so nice. I hope that they bring that back again. And I paired that with Teddy Bees Autumnal Dream, because there are definitely some similarities between the two scents. This one's not quite as green. This is warm cedar, oak trees, dried berries, carrot, vanilla sandalwood, balsam, creamy cardamom, fresh pine, and guaiac wood. The woodiness and the very much like farm vegetal, fieldy kind of smell, those were shared between these two scents. Really gorgeous. But this one goes more like earthy pine cone over time when you melt it. And then probably my favorite thing this whole last week and a half, I got out one of my favorite fall scents from Teddy Bees. It's fall, y'all. You guys, you melt this and it cuddles you like a fine sweater. Marshmallow fireside, sweet cinnamon, orange zest, leaves, brown sugar, and vanilla. It's almost musky, and it's sweet, and it's fall in a loaf, and I just enjoyed every minute of this. And I paired that with, just in the kitchen, some apples and oats, because this is stronger, but there's sort of this like interesting musky oatmeal-y thing. I think it's the brown sugar in both of them that these scents share. And then apples and oats is more oaty. It's got almost a, like an instant oatmeal packet kind of a thing going on. And then some tartness from the apple. Really good, and it was good with its fall, y'all. And then the forget-me-not that never dies, Ichabod Sea, which I did talk about in that very large melting basket of all things that aren't Scentsy. I talked about Yankee and Teddy Bees and Second and Spruce and you name it. But this smell, I had a hard time with it at first because I just hadn't let it sit long enough. But over the last month or so, it just came out of the curing chrysalis and became this beautiful butterfly. This one, I just kept melting it over and over again over the last week and a half. This is fresh pumpkin, clove, bourbon, maple, and toasted oak. I put it in the bedroom. I put it out here. I put it in the front room, mixed it in different warmers with different things, and it was just so nice. Warm, slightly spicy, the bourbon, the maple, the pumpkin, it just gave that cozy factor. Similar in some ways to its fall, y'all, but a little bit deeper. And even my husband, who doesn't comment on a lot of things that aren't Scentsy. It's just funny. I think he's smelled Scentsy for so many years. That's always like, he always comments on the Scentsy the most. But he commented on this and he really liked it. So I have one more whole forget-me-not of that, and I'm really glad. I'll probably save it for next year because I did melt that whole thing pretty much in a week. So I might be slightly in need of a break, but that is a beautiful fall scent from Teddy Bees. Okay, now here's a funny story. Do you just, if you are the mom of teens or maybe kids that are still at home, they're working or they're going to college and they're pulling their weight, so we let our kids continue to be here for a little bit longer because they're definitely doing their due diligence in their lives. But they still live at home, so there's that whole, well, I don't really need to clean my room mindset. I'd had enough of older daughter's room. So I went in there the other day and I didn't quite do Mama Bear in the Berenstain Bears that we all grew up with, if you're my age. But I had to sort some of her things. And I got into her little wax cabinet. And she kept telling me, Mom, don't give me any more wax. I'm overflowing. And I didn't really believe her. Well, I went into her little wax cabinet. I better just keep the rest of that in my own storage space because she is overflowing. but I found a tin of Teddy Bees, a souffle size, of something blue that had lost its cover package. And we all know it's a no-no to let wax just sit out exposed. I'm like, I don't know what this is. I have a guess. I'm going to whack it up and I'm going to stick it in a bunch of warmers and see. So it was like half a souffle of something blue from Teddy Bees, and it was ozonic, and it was like an early fall rainy smell. So I had to go into her list and figure it out. It's a rainy day. And this morning she came out and she's like, do you know where my dish went? And I said, yeah, I've got it for my video because there's no tin anymore and there's no baggie. So this is the only evidence that I can tell people we melted rainy day. And I'm going to clean this out and put something new in her room this afternoon. But this is a beautiful scent. It has sandalwood. It's got that beautiful ozonic, fresh, clean rain smell, and whatever else is in it. I think it might be apple because I don't even have the sleeve to tell you what's in this smell. But I just got to do a swap with another lady in the wax community, and she was so sweet. She had another souffle for any day, and it's coming because I know how much my family loves this. Really, really good scent. So that's the only way I could show you proof that we did melt that this week. And the long story short, keep an eye on your kids' wax stash so that they don't lose all the parts and keep your investments protected, you know? So she could see her floor and her bed was made, and she came home. And, you know, when they get into their early 20s, they're a little bit more understanding that your time is valuable. And Abby came to me and she's like, Mom, thank you so much. It means a lot to me that I can, she didn't literally say this, but the tone was, I can see the floor. And I'm like, yeah, can you keep it up now, please? Anyway, what's next? I got into my one souffle that I got through some trading of Late Night Bake. Sweet lavender sugar cookies, pink sugar with the background of Palo Santo. It's a beautiful smell. You know, for some people, this is a ride or die. I liked it. My favorite lavenders from Teddy Bees are, it's not just another lavender vanilla and lavender bonfires. But this is really nice. It's like a super sweet lavender with that sugar cookie, and then the Palo Santo keeps it from being cloying. So I will enjoy melting the rest of this too. And then I did do a couple that are second in spruce, and then I have a couple of things that were strictly bedroom that are Scentsy and Teddy Bees. So second in spruce, apple chai of my eye. This was so nice. Chai tea, baked apples, and cinnamon sugar pie crust. It was a very authentic, very milky chai. Really good, very, very cozy. I think I let this go 2 days in the Florida room. I enjoyed it a lot. So I'm just dabbling into second in spruce, and I am appreciating the authenticity of a lot of her bakery blends. And then younger daughter got into autumn air this morning. This is beautiful, very strong. Reminds me very much of Painted Leaves and reminds me very much of Sweater Weather, but it's its own little twist where there's almost like a spiciness to this one that the other two don't quite have, and I really like it. Falling leaves, fir needles, it might be the roasted pine cones in here. The cool breeze, sandalwood, and mallow fireside. Really, really good if you want that bracingly crisp, cool, sharp fall scent that almost leans winter. Very, very nice. So I'm happy I have a whole tub of this. This is a powerhouse, and it'll be tempting to use that up even just this fall because it's so nice. Because anytime I put Painted Leaves from Scentsy in the warmer, it gets just a little sharp for me, and I tend to want to pull it out, where this one, it just flirts with that edge of sharpness, but it stays a little sweeter. It's really good. And then what else do I have? Ooh, I was working on a few things in just the bedrooms, one of which is sugar chestnuts and apple butter. This is a 10 out of 10 from Teddy Bees. Somehow, when you put this thing in the warmer, it is just all things good, almost like your grandmother gave you a hug. The apples in here are very much like they've been baked and simmered for days, and then you get the chestnuts. Oh, the actual notes are apple butter, which is that deep baked apple smell. The brown sugar, toasted chestnuts, clove, and notes of spice. Like, you really cannot do better for a home fragrance scent for fall, and to me this leans very Thanksgiving than this one. It's truly amazing. One of the best scents, and this is one of the first things that I experienced for my first big pre-order a couple years ago when I started with Teddy Bees, and it has stayed an absolute favorite of mine and everybody else. I mean, anybody that melts sugar chestnuts and apple butter falls in love with it. So then I've got a couple more kind of inconsequential things that were in the bedroom. I did a wax swap with a friend and she sent me a mandarin toffee treat, which is it's just a fun bar. This is kind of lighthearted, not super serious. I did this in the basement and my bedroom because this last couple weeks, actually this last month, my basement's been quite neglected. We haven't been down there very much. I haven't been melting a lot of wax, but I used half of this down there. And so this one has a nice caramel toffee and just a little bit of a really bright citrusy mandarin scent. So it was good in my bedroom. Didn't last a super long time, lasted a little longer in the basement, but it was just nice. It was happy. Like that would be really good at Christmas time too. And then I did one beautiful clam. Half of it was in the bedroom, and then I think the rest of it I threw in out here to use it up, of Cambridge. This is such a gorgeous scent. This is another one where we need to vote this back for BBMB. I don't think it's very well known. It's got vetiver. It's got this like forest floor in the middle of the summer heat where you're crunching on all of the dead pine needles and it releases that sweet resin kind of deal. It's almost a masculine powdery cologne, but it's also outdoorsy, Cambridge. Fantastic. I think it was a scent of the month, one summer month, probably in August, many moons ago. And it's not well known, but it is so good. And then last but not least, I did a whole clam of exotic vanilla in my bedroom over a couple of days. It's just beautiful. Like I love a good vanilla scent. And this one has some patchouli and some spice, so it's fall. And it's just a beautiful body care complex. Very, very old formula. This is like from eons ago with Scentsy originally. And I guess it was called Velvet Spice. That didn't sell, so they renamed it Exotic Vanilla, and then it sold very well for them. And I'm going to keep that in my club for a bit because it's really, really good. So this is Elizabeth with Elizabeth's Scenes and Scents. Like I said, I think my favorite thing, although sugar chestnuts and apple butter was really good, I think my favorite thing out of the whole week that just made me smile the widest was this Isabel, y'all. It's just my favorite thing here. It's so good. So have a great day, guys. God bless. Bye-bye.